ladies and gentlemen, we're back with everybody's favorite evil cackling necromancer. It's going to be the Tomb Kings led by Arkhan the Black facing off against the Dark Elves, who shall be led by a Supreme Sorceress and Arrow Krastek. So it should be quite a bit of fun. The rush build is on. So we have Tomb Guard, we have chariots, we have archers following them. I do love Ushabti Greatbow here quite a bit, but I feel like really high level players like Arrow are just so good at shutting down those tools, and it really kind of makes your build a little bit more predictable because they are something that everybody expects, right? So in this case, I feel like the Tomb King's Rush is the way to go. Front line is going to be Tomb Guard as well as Kepra Guard, backed up by some basic Ushabti. So these guys are pretty good at killing like Corsairs and Bleak Swords. It's like, let's throw a couple of them in and see how they do. In the back, we have two chariots, two archers, Arkhan the Black on horseback, and some Nehekar horsemen on the wings. So let's see if it works out. Hopefully we have enough killing power with the Ushabti and the chariots to deal with that massive infantry. And that's kind of the idea behind Arrow's build. Probably is just to have a mass amount of infantry just to kind of swarm and really take down Ushabti Greatbow and chase them and make your ammo a little bit less efficient. The rest of his build is going to be double Death Hag on the ground, Supreme Sorceress of Fireball, Lord Sniping, so going to be spamming on Arkhan the Black here, which is very meta. And it's funny, I hadn't played Warhammer 2 in a long time, so I'm kind of like, oh yeah, I remember this matchup now. It's basically just sniping Arkhan the Black with fireballs the whole game. So Scourge Hunter chariots, as well as some Cold One Knights on the flanks, and that is it. So the battle is indeed on, right to business here at the 30-second mark. I did bring the Archer chariots here just to get a little bit of extra DACA, not doing a whole lot, but you know, it does indeed send a message. So we'll see if it works out. Spirit Leech going down, Archers blasting into the Death Hag here, and so far getting a nice opening, and we do get our first charge. So the chariots of Nehekara shall sing once more as they do run on through. I would actually love to do a Tomb King's army in tabletop. I feel like that'd be really cool. But they do just wreck those Corsairs. I mean, look at the amount of damage those chariots get. We also do scream in with the Horsemen, which are going to be kind of mitigating some of his counter charges, but for the most part, Dark Elves are now entrenched. They have Dread Spears, so I got to pull my chariots and Horsemen back and let the Tomb Guard pile in and fight. Another Fireball and Arkhan the Black. On the far side, my Nehekar horsemen are getting hunted. And you can see one of the Death Hags is quite low, so trying my best to wear that down, while on the other side, the Kepra Guard pushing forth, the Ushabti getting a little bit overextended. You have to make sure they're on top of the infantry, because right now his anti-large Cold One Knights are getting really good value on my units, and I am paying the iron price to an extent. Flanking coming in from Arrow, we do get the Cold One Knights moving, looking to get a nice surround of my archers. So Arkhan the Black is going to be used to block them with the summon, so I do see them coming in here, and a summon should be going down any second. Yeah, there it is. So I do drop the Skeleton Summon to block his Cold One Knight charge, protecting these archers, and it certainly will buy them a little bit of time. So the big MLG plays are on. Kepra Guard and Ushabti able to cut through Corsairs, now pushing onto the Cold One Knights. In the meantime, just kind of a wild battle all over the field, really. We're taking turns with chariots, like he's running over my archers here. My chariots just totally crush the Bleak Swords. Tomb King's chariots, I think, are very underrated. So going to be getting a quick charge on these characters. Not that they're good against like SCMs, really, but the chariots against foot-based characters, you can kill them. So I saw the two Death Hags, a little bit of an opportunity here. Arkhan the Black comes in, gets a nice charge, and will he get his old Pimpkin and get some work in here? Perhaps so. The Hag does get knocked over and is going to be on the retreat. So Tomb Guard, I think, are one of the big MVPs for me here. They seem to be holding most of their positions, and the basic Ushabti also aren't doing bad either. Fireball once again on Arkhan the Black, slowly wearing him down, so pretty much every chance that Arrow gets is going to be a Fireball. The one thing I'm very grateful for, though, is that he didn't have a Burning Head. He just decided to go with like Fireball and Cascading Fire Cloak just to be really kind of min-maxing in terms of sniping my characters, I think. So that worked out pretty great, but Burning Head could have been pretty devastating, as it is kind of the antithesis of the Tomb Kings. But overall, we get a pretty good charge here. We are able to Shrek those Death Hags, so one of them does get broken, the other one's quite low as well. Dark Elves have taken over this side of the battlefield. Granted, Kepra Guard are still going like champs. One of the tougher units to finish for sure, but he does crumble some Tomb Guard and some Skeletons over there, so that formation does unfortunately break, and Skeleton Warriors may be able to beat those guys. We'll see. They have a lot more models. So another Spirit Leech going down. I'm going to be using that on the Cold One Knights. We do have a bit of an ugly block fight here with all of my Missile Chariots holding against the Cav Charge, and now we're playing bumper cars, so we do have the Dark Elf bumper car game, as they use their bumper cars into my bumper cars. And yeah, you guys remember going to like doing bumper cars back in the 90s? That was some wild shit, man. Like the headaches you would get after that, that's a concussion, dude. That's like a wild game. Anyways, Arkhan the Black bouncing out, trying to keep my chariots alive. I know I need to clean up the Dark Elf infantry, and we do still have some Ushabti fighting. One of them is my Ushabti summon, which I did use here in the center. And I see some of the Cold One Knights pushing back, and they're going to get me eventually. So in a moment, I do decide to just turn and fight, using firstly a Spirit Leech to finish off the Death Hag, which should finish off that character. 291 HP, a couple more ticks, and she should be paying the Troll Toll, and there she goes. Oh man, holding on to 29 HP. At least she's broken, probably won't come back. And now Arkhan trying to help. Obviously, chariots are pretty crappy in melee, but The Cold One Knights are rampaging, and I'm like, let's just get our critical mass going here and see if we can finish them and have some luck. Now, as far as what I really have left, we do have the Kepler Guard doing the work of the gods, the ancient Tomb King's gods, that is. And here we still got some Tomb Guard fighting well, backed up by some Ushapti, which do give mass to that formation, and they are grinding down many of the Cold One Knights, I would say. Ushapti summon's going to be disappearing here in a second, but not before they do some decent work, breaking through some Corsairs and also putting some hurt on that hag there. And it looks like the Cold One Knights still won't break, man. I was like, God damn, these things are just fighting forever. Like 300 HP, holding on, and like tying down my chariot blob back here. In the meantime, Scourge Runners are trying to snipe Arkhan, so I'm like trying to matrix that shit, move back and forth, and get away from it. But the fireball snipes have been pretty consistent, and I'm surprised Arkhan even lasts this long. I assumed the Manticore would come for him a little bit earlier on. Nice play here from the chariots. Going to be getting right into my Tomb Guard there. Beautiful stuff. Arrow seeing the blood in the water. Going to be taking out my elite infantry that are very exposed. But my chariots are going to be coming to return the favor, so we'll see what they can do. So here comes the Tomb King's chariots, which are not quite as strong individually, but they are more numerous, and the Bleak Swords there get absolutely plowed and destroyed. Meanwhile, Kepler Guard doing the work, man. They're able to take down a Death Hag from almost full health with the help of Arkhan the Black. Their fireball coming down. Staff of Nagash also active here, so Arkhan's, he's surviving, just barely though. Supreme Sorceress in terms of value, probably pretty good. Arkhan's only about 600, but his magic has been very, very useful here. And Chariots getting in there, running over some of the Dread Spears. Not quite able to break them, and the Manticore does also come in to help. Manticores, of course, and SEMs in general are very good against Chariots. They have good mass, and he is able to kind of hold me at bay here. Some more shots from the Scourge Runner Chariots. Both armies are looking very, very bare bones and beat up. Arkhan the Black is on death's bed here. You know, it's not the first time he's been there, clearly. You can tell by looking at him. My two chariots are quite low. Dark Elves thankfully don't have much infantry left. I see some Dread Spears coming from across. And the one thing that's going to be very tricky for my opponent here to finish... Oh, the Fireball! Oh, baby! The MLG block. It looks like the Fireball hit one of the Cold One Knights in the back, so obviously he was a secret agent for my forces here, but... The one thing I really need to kill is the Scourge Runners. The Scourge Runners are pretty much the bane of my existence here, because the real meat of my army is my Tomb Guard. I have a couple left. I have Kepler Guard, which are very healthy, but... Like, I don't care how good Kepler Guard are. Chariots can cycle charge them into oblivion and really just do nasty, nasty damage, right? And the Supreme Sorceress is also going to be a problem, right? So balance of power is pretty even. And here, Arrow is doing a great job using a Scourge Runner's ammo to soften up Arkhan the Black. I'm just trying to juke back and forth and use my chariots to go and try and goon his chariots a little bit. Bumper cars round 2 using Spirit Leech. But Arkhan gets fireballed in the face and down goes the Necromancer. Never to cackle again. A very inglorious pose right there. But, you know, he'll be back. He's a Tomb King. He's chilling. Kepler Guard, 66 models, not the blessed number, but close enough. And here we do see the old chariots chasing down the Scourge Runners, doing some serious work for sure. But in the meantime, Scourge Runner chariots still causing a lot of problems, going to be blasting into my units. We do have some Hellebroni, the most chill of all spears in the realm, coming to do battle. And here comes a beautiful charge. Look at that, just fat damage running through my Kepler Guard, and probably will be able to pull back and through his own Hellebroni. Yeah, no more big lord. What you see is what you got. It's really going to be my Tomb Guard. So some Tomb Guard do bounce out here, and they're going to be doing battle with the Bleak Swords. And now I've kind of fallen behind in the bounce power, looking like a pretty good game for the old Druki here. And the Dark Elves doing quite great. And these Tomb Guard getting rear charged. A great way to deal with elite infantry is to break their leadership when they're undead, and then they'll just start crumbling. But here the Kepler Guard are able to break the Hellebroni. So the Hellebroni, the chillest of the bros here, do get taken to task pretty hard. But another fireball coming in. Nice splash right in the middle of the formation. My poor chariots also crumble, which is a shame. They had a little bit of ammo, but they've taken a beating this game and certainly have done very well. But Tomb Guard, big performers. So now we can do a little bit of fast forwarding as we do have some Benny Hilling. So now the Supreme Sorceress is going to be forced into fight. So Arrow and I, of course, are playing in accordance with like tournament rules and things like that, right? And this is where land battles are awesome. When you're playing with friends who obviously will play, you know, honest, and it's not going to be like draw kiting me around the map with the Manticore Lord, like it's a campaign battle, for example. It's where it really shines, right? Thankfully, the Scourge Runner shattered. I was like, thank the Dark Gods. And now it's basically just a Supreme Sorceress versus my skeleton. So we'll do some fast forwarding, and you guys can watch this Benny Hill stuff. And the Kepler Guard are holding on, man. Balance of power is really heavily in his favor. Spears actually broke before they came back, which was huge because it could have triggered a rear charge penalty. And in the end, the Hellebroni actually win it. No, excuse me, the Kepler Guard. They're able to win the battle. And I couldn't believe it. We were both like laughing like, come on. But Kepler Guard, 1400 value. Arkhan did great. He lived a long time. Chariots were MVP. They cleared out a lot of that infantry heavy build. And I feel like his build was designed to kill Ushapti Greatbow. I'm very happy I didn't go for them. And the rush worked out well. It did indeed. Burning Head could have been a big difference maker, but he still got 2500 value on that thing. So it's like the fireballs definitely paid for themselves. And if you do spam Burning Heads also, you often don't have enough Winds of Magic to also kill their Lord with Fireball, so I think sometimes you have to make a choice. In this case, the Burning Head probably would have been stronger since I went Elite, but a lot of times Tomb Kings just go with Chaff with Ushapi Greatbow and some monsters, right? So it's a little bit of a tough choice, but yeah, GG, well played. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. I'm having so much fun playing Warhammer 2 again. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back with more replay soon. Fasten them seatbelts. Good times are on the horizon.